Ooh. Good morning. This is Handel's Messiah, of course. Ooh. Old wreck that I am. Self-explanatory, really. Christ will come again. This is absolutely God's covenant with us, God's absolute rock-solid promise. There is no doubt. When is the question? Right from the earliest times of Christ, people thought he would be, the second coming would happen in the first century. And then there have been times through, the one I particularly know a little bit about is 1600s. What happened then? I'm getting rusty, but and I'm sure in the Black Death, and which is 1345 and so on, people, and when there's an eclipse of the sun and so on, there are various passages in the Bible that give clues to this, and people were much more, they had much, I suppose you could call it superstitious, but there was a much stronger faith in the spirit of most ordinary people. Whereas now we're awash with material and people are just detached from their inner spiritual selves. So this prepare you the way for the Lord is John the Baptist. It's in the Gospels. Well, I've said it many a time, we should live our lives. Christ says, take up your cross and follow me each day. So, yesterday's gone, tomorrow hasn't happened. Let the words of today be sufficient unto the day. So, this is the only day we have. It's Sunday, the 9th of August, 2020. I'm in St Albans, Hertfordshire, England. And we're right in the middle of this very hot spell for England. I mean, we're still up in the 20s, I think, or no, I think it's 18 or something, according to the weather thing. But we've had it up into the 30s, mid-30s, for heaven's sake, which for England is jolly hot. I have actually been in Italy at 43 and India and so on, and deserts even higher than that. But for England, this is pretty jolly hot. This COVID-19, the coronavirus that is galloping around the world. I mean, Brazil, Bolsonaro, the prime president or whatever he is, still in denial. Well, the economy first, never mind the people. Well, I'm afraid that's putting the cart before the horse. Because if you ain't got no people, mate, you haven't got an economy. So he's got that one wrong, hasn't he? They've just passed some milestone in terms of deaths and so on. in the normal way, who would wish anything other than good for their children? Education, etc., home, family, food, obviously. So no one would wish ill in general on their own children. And in exactly the same way, really, God would only wish us all well, as in Julian of Norwich. This is a wasp has come in. What is he doing up at? It's jolly 2 in the morning. Oi, go back to bed, naughty old wasp. What's he doing up at 2 in the morning? Hey, have they got a home to go to, wasps? I was stung by one yesterday. So that was Handel's Messiah, Every Valley. The words are there in John the Baptist comes and prepares the way for the Lord. Well, in my really such a totally, utterly small way, because my films are virtually not watched at all, but I just have to do this because to me, I just see it so clearly. This is a pestilence, as in the end time passages, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the synoptic gospels, not in John. And God is just demonstrating with just the wave of the tiniest, smallest move of his tiniest, smallest finger, if you like, that he can just close down the world in a matter of months. What's a big flash motor car if it hasn't got any fuel? People do not put God at the center of their lives. I've only very recently, actually, sort of properly come across, and I'm 63, so I've been at this for a while, but I know it, but it's just been brought to my attention more recently. The Shema Yisrael, I'm a Goy, I'm a Gentile, obviously, a white, middle-class British person. But I am a Christian, and the Shema Yisrael is Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheu, Adonai Echad. It's what Jewish people have in a little mezuzah on their door, and they strap it to the forehead and to the wrist. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 specifically. And holy religious Jews pray this every day. Christ was a Jew. The Roman Catholics only forgave the authorities, the Jewish authorities, for crucifying Christ at the Second Vatican Council in 1962. Going on to 63, I'm not quite sure. But this sort of, the Jewish Bible ends at Malachi, which is the last book of the Old Testament. Mainstream Jewish teaching does not include the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the letters and so on, the Acts and the letters and so on of the New Testament. There's Jews for Jesus. So Jewish people recognize, obviously, that Christ was a Jew. And then there's these beautiful words of Simeon, Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace, for mine eyes hath seen thy salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all people, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and for the glory of thy people Israel. God has made covenants with his people, the Jews, the Israelites, which are unbreakable. I was studying religion and ethics at St. David's University College back in 1983. Is that right? Yes. Anyway, quite a long time ago. In South Wales, St. David's University College, South Wales, Lampeter. Now, there are a number of these covenants God makes with his chosen people, the Israelites. He brought them out of Egypt, Moses, etc., to the promised land, Israel. Well, to me, trying to understand these matters is the most interesting thing in the world. I happen to be the best physics student my school had had for quite a while, because I got the best marks in an exam that the head of physics, Mr. A.J. Powney was his name, at Mill Hill, a minor public school just down the hill from here, set. So, fine. So I'm very bright. But so what? You know, there's so many things one might have done in life. But I've just sort of remained focused on God, really. Trying to understand the world in which I live through the eyes of a Christian. That's what matters. There are 2 commandments. I'm quite sure I've said this before. So love God and then love your neighbor as yourself. It's as simple as that. Anyone and everyone can understand that. You don't have to go into all there's the Torah, the first 5 books, all the Jewish law and so on. Christ came to bring us the new covenant, which is just this question of love. I'm living in St. Albans specifically because of Alban, who was martyred, the first British martyr in the year 200 and something AD. A Roman centurion, obviously, no doubt involved with the killing of local people, if ordered by the emperor, the Roman emperor of the day. And then he, Amphibolus, he's called, they met and Alban saw the light and obviously said no to killing. That's the point. Knowing that his fate would be martyrdom, inevitably. That's the beauty of St. Alban. Whereas we, human beings, through the centuries, have just continued killing, quite frankly. Using one excuse or another. Christ says, if they strike you on one cheek, give unto them the other cheek. Every single hair on the head of your fellow man, woman, child, every single human being, every single hair is precious and special. Therefore, you cannot kill as a Christian. The moment you accept the love of God through Christ within you, killing has to stop. And it clearly hasn't. So that's how far we are from just the ordinary, basic, simplest Christian belief. there shall be no killing. There shall no... This wasp is wandering around. No even thinking about killing or doing any ill deeds, actually. Of course we're human and have feelings and upsets with other human beings. That's why the Lord's Prayer has, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive them that trespass against us. Of course, we're bound to fall out with, our neighbours. It's inevitable. That's why it's there. God will forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. But then we must forgive others. So we must love our neighbours. We don't have to like them. But we must love them. Isn't my avocado doing beautifully? I did one of those things in a water, with the 3 cocktail sticks. Look at this. Hey? I'm moving soon, so I'm hoping I'll be able to find a place that I can plant my avocado tree out. Anyway, here we are. I've rambled quite enough. I prefer candlelight. Just the 2 commandments. It's as simple as this. They're 2 commandments. And it's all about love. Love God. Love your neighbour as yourself. Amen.